Teachers, I am so excited to talk to you about the Doctrinal Mastery Review for this time because it has to do with memorization, which is a topic that I'm really excited about. You can see right here, the focus is memorize. But here's the challenge. The most common way to memorize, and the way that's talked about in the lesson, is just to repeat, to talk about it over and over and over again. Now, between you and I, on a single day, just standing in front of the classroom, maybe you've got it on the board, to repeat it over and over and over again, that's tough. Even if you break it down into small parts and repeat it, the charm wears off quickly. So, I want to remind you of the app, the Doctrinal Mastery app, and if you're not familiar with it, if your students haven't used it, I'm going to put a link for a video that I made about the church's Doctrinal Mastery app and how you can use the memorize function here. The memorize function allows you to choose a scripture and then work on memorizing it. The challenge is that it gives you all of the verses, and this isn't terrible. You may decide that with your students, you would like to use this memorizing technique. This slider at the bottom there, as you move the slider, it takes out words, and so that you can keep going over it again and again with fewer and fewer words until you get it. It's like erasing the words on the chalkboard. But our focus has been to memorize the references and the scripture key phrases, like you see right down here. So the app may not be as useful. But let me offer a couple of things. One, the manual later on talks about encouraging the students to work on memorizing it a little each day. Why not do that in class? If you haven't started it, I would encourage you to make it part of your daily devotional time to spend, I don't know, a minute and a half just reviewing whatever scripture you're working on that week. These key scripture phrases are pretty short, and your students will probably get them really quickly. There must be an atonement made, an infinite and eternal sacrifice. Alma 34, 9-10. Go over that a couple of times before you start class. Each day over the course of the week. A little bit each day is a lot better than a lot in a single sitting. But you've got this single sitting now. You've got this time to work on them. What else can we do? You can do drawings. We've talked about that in the past. Have the students do drawings of the phrase, there must be an atonement made. And as each student works on their drawing, try to come up with concepts for a word or a phrase, and then use those drawings to review the text. And working in teams can be a great way to do it too. The one I'm going to share with you today that might be helpful, different, and allow students to get moving a little bit more is to turn the key scripture phrases into, not quite puzzle pieces, but essentially you would print this off and then cut each word out. And then give the students a pile of those words. Have them work together and even compete. Put the scripture together, assemble it correctly, and see how quickly you can do it. I would encourage them to have a little time first to work on memorizing it. Again, you could do it as teams. Have two people help each other out to memorize it, and then assemble it. Now, if you want, you could make it a whole class competition. Spend, I don't know how long you want to spend, 5-10 minutes with pairs working on helping each other memorize it, or memorizing a few. I've got 3 that I'm providing for you here. I've added an extra space in between the words so it's easier to cut them out. This does take a little bit of prep time, but you don't have to be the one to do it at home. If you can at least print these off, then bring them to class and have the students cut them out. So now you've got each team, let's say this, you've got 2 students, they're They're working as a team. They're helping each other memorize. Now we're going to have a whole class race. So now everybody gets their pieces out. And if you want to make sure there's no stacking the deck, have each team pass their words that they've cut out to the next team, so that there's no motivation for them to have those pieces in a particular order. Now everyone's got mixed up pile of words ready, go, and the team that can get that phrase put together correctly, and then do that for the other ones as well. Anyways, it'll be a fun time to get the students to be interacting and challenging each other, and still learning these wonderful, wonderful key scripture phrases. May the Lord bless you. I hope this helps you to have more fun and more activity with this memorization activity for the Doctrinal Mastery Review.